Bibi.
How are you?
Lovely to meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
Oh, same here too.
Yeah.
We are famous.
You're both famous. Oh, how exciting. Let's go upstairs and have a bit more of a chat.
That's Romeo. He follows me everywhere. Well, here's the studio. So let's go upstairs now. I'd love to see some of your work. Let's bring some of your work in.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Come and have a look at
Wow.
this little bit.
How fantastic. Okay, so these are some of your more recent works?
Yes, my recent works. They're done on, this one's done on a linen, a Belgian linen.
Yes.
And this one here is actually done on the silk canvas.
I see.
And so you can see that this particular style that I'm doing, it's about bush tucker.
Yes.
And you'll see in an abstract form is that the wide, the squares are actually different parts of bush tucker that's out there in the desert. So the white depicts as witchetty grubs.
Yeah.
Then you go through to the brown, which is bush potatoes.
I see.
Then you go to the red, which is berries.
I see.
So it's just an abstract point of view of how it all comes together. The theme, this one here is more defined in some of the beautiful chocolate colour lines of a pathway to the main corroboree area.
I see.
And again, witchetty grubs, the bush potatoes and the berries,
Well,
just slightly.
it's wonderful. And I'm curious about the canvas difference.
The main difference is that it's even texture.
Yeah.
You'll see there's more of a depth in the browns.
Yes.
And the same colour browns that we do have up here.
I see.
We're going to put a lot of time and energy into, see with the reds.
Yes.
Very, that's probably 3 applications.
So you've got more underpainting on here, less underpainting there.
Yes.
So it holds the colour and the pigment
That's right.
fuller than on
Fuller,
the
yes, exactly. But the beautiful thing about it is that it actually goes in all different mediums.
I see.
So as an artist, we will appreciate that to have just one canvas that actually just takes straight onto,
Absolutely.
without preparing your oils, even your watercolour, your gouache, and your acrylics.
And I suppose that in the case of when you're drawing onto a canvas, particularly now, you know, I now work in multimedia, so and very much mixed media on canvases. So it'd be fantastic when I'm working actually with going straight from a charcoal application. If I want to put some other medium on, I don't actually have to work. I can work on charcoal and it's going to stay.
Yes.
And then if I use a fixative, I don't have to prepare different parts of the canvas for different types of medium.
That's right.
Wow, that's fantastic.
3 o'clock in the morning, I had to finish off a beautiful painting on silk. And a friend of mine, that was their 50th wedding anniversary, and I thought, well, I'll come to Sydney, had really little cash, and I thought, well, the only way to try and get this silk stretched, because it probably costs you about $300 to stretch it and frame it and put a glass over it. I thought, well, I'll just make up some kind of solution which will stick it to a surface. And I was going to put it on board, but I actually went to get the board and I spilt the mixture on top of the painting, which was therefore on top of the canvas, and it just bonded. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I thought, well, I'll just get a normal piece of canvas and piece of silk, and I just fixed the whole thing together, and then all of a sudden it just bonded very well. Fantastic, fantastic.
That's wonderful. That was a couple of years ago and you got painted.
Yes, a couple of years ago. Now we've got a patent, and we have an international application of patent, and we have an innovation patent in place.
What does this mean, like, in terms of where artists can now go with their work?
Oh, they can really mix the mediums a lot more easier, and where before with silk, even silk dyes, and even batik, you'd have to do get it mounted onto a board or onto a canvas, but in this case straight onto, so I can actually do wax on that and dye different colours onto it, so it's amazing. Yeah.
Sometimes the process of painting, the layers and layers and layers, is actually for me the boring bit, because I just want to express what I've got in my head and I want to put down. And if you can just put the paint on in the application you want, you know that it's not going to take 5 layers to get where you want it to go.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, if you do it in 3, I mean, you need the layering anyway because you want the colouring. You want the
yeah,
mixing.
because like I said, the last layer is like the final. It's the lining up of everything, and that's what I found with the silk canvas, that it just commands that.
Yeah.
It just absorbs it. It just draws you in. It's like, oh wow, and it's so smooth. Well, I've been an artist for over 22 years, and my first ever medium was actually watercolour. So I love colour so much, I wanted to blend. And then from there I graduated to acrylics, and then dabbled a little bit of oil, but also loved the fact that I can actually use the pencil and a bit of charcoal. So I started to get different textures. I love shapes and I love structure. And in Aboriginal art, it's always about mapping.
Yes.
And so I thought, well, how can I contribute the stories that my grandmother had given me about bush tucker, and how I can actually express that and explain that in art form. So now with these new pieces, because I love colour and I wanted to kind of flex my muscle there, because I do love how colour blends together, I wanted to show how they can, you know, one colour can lead to another. And just with the abstract way of the lines, and just to try and explain that it's, like you say, it's different types of sections of colour that has different meaning of different types of bush tucker food. And you know, that this is where it led me to this kind of style. It's actually by accident, so I love accidents. Well, my grandmother, we always go through the lineage of the matriarch, and she was from Cherbourg, and she was born and bred in Roma, and
Is that in Queensland?
That's in Queensland. So all of the stories that she's passed down to me is around her upbringing and being on the mission at Cherbourg. But myself, I was actually born in Roma, a little dusty town in the outback. So then my mother took me to Cherbourg Mission, and then moved us down to Liverpool. Well, the silk is being produced right now, and we're hoping to have the silk out into the marketplace in the next month. So that's quite exciting. And
Very
then the paper will
exciting. All
come.
artists around the world, and you as well.
Yeah, no, it's when you, as an artist, if you find something that's, you know, so different and so unique, it's always best to share it. And so we thought, well, let's protect it and share it with our fellow artists out there, because, you know, we love it, and you know, I hope you guys like it too.
Excellent. And Bibi, when's your next study? You've got a solo exhibition coming up in, I think it's October the 12th, is that right, on the Friday night?
Yes,
So
correct.
stay tuned for more information
So
about that.
so a nice, very colourful. That's all I'll say. It's going to be very colourful. And the theme of it would be about my family.
One of the places we put a lot of support into is the Centre for Wildlife Rehabilitation in India, in Assam, in Kazringa, and they have a lot of rescued animals that have been hurt, injured. They've been found by the sides of, often the maternal elephant has been electrocuted by down power lines in a storm, or hit by a truck or a train, and then the orphans then are brought to the CWRC for rehabilitation. Sometimes they're very, very injured and sick themselves, and the aim is, which is a very unusual and it's a fantastic plan, which is why we support them, is that they rehabilitate them in order to release them to the wild. Well, I'm going to have I have an open studio here the second Sunday of every month.
Okay.
So second Sunday from 2 to 5. So it's basically, it's very much to do one of two things. It's to get people to see see my studio, but more so is to give them an opportunity for people who are interested in supporting animal works. They can come along, they can take an elephant home on the day.
Lovely.
And they can just put a deposit down through PayPal and pay it off. So we're encouraging people to actually come along and adopt an elephant.
Oh, beautiful.
Take an elephant home on the day, and we'll just get your details, and when it goes through PayPal, it's all going directly to, and then the first $100 of every purchase on PayPal will go directly to our milk fund for the orphans. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so Bibi, I'll give you one of these. That's essentially a little journal on animal works, and that first trip to Assam, and it sort of outlines what we were doing and drawing in the field, and
Beautiful.
and it has a lot of the drawings in there of what I've done with the Indian elephants. And now that I've learnt a little bit about your work and you know, I'm really excited about what your direction is as an artist. This is a real innovation. It's you know, it's a real first for Australian artists. It's a first worldwide for you know, sort of a real change in the direction of what you're offering. And Romeo approves. That's important. But I was just thinking, you know, as you're here, I would really like to think we've got an exhibition coming up in November for Portrait Artists Australia, and that particular exhibition is called Celebrating Innovators. Now, I was wondering if, as you can see, I do portraits, and you know, plenty of portraits. I was wondering if you would be so kind as to be my subject for this particular exhibition.
I'll be honoured. I'll be absolutely
That'd be fantastic, because you know what? I couldn't imagine someone more suitable for it. You represent not only Australian artists, so you represent me, and as I'm an Australian artist, and although I'm not an Indigenous artist, I feel that I'm a global citizen, so you're a global citizen. And since your product is going to go globally anyway, I believe that this is something that we really should celebrate, not only for Australian business, but we should definitely be celebrating as an Australian artist, and the fact that you're a sister as well, how fantastic.
Yes, that's
it's fantastic. So I think if you can do that, I would love to paint you. And you know, seeing how the reaction is, it's going to, the exhibition is going to be held in Federal Parliament House.
Wow.
In Canberra. So you're going to be having a lot of airplay.
Look, I'm just absolutely blown away. I'm honoured. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bibi. And maybe you'll be hung in the Archibald. You never know. You never know.
You never know.
As an innovator and an artist.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
Thank you again, Bibi.
You're amazing. Oh, thank you.
So good to meet you.
Yeah,
really good to meet you.
Oh, thank you so much.